Hi, Scorpio. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. This is going to be a mid-month check-in for the sign of Scorpio. So if you have Scorpio anywhere in your chart, maybe you vibe with Scorpios, you could be a cross-watcher, whatever the case may be, this reading may resonate for you. As always, this is the internet, so take what resonates and leave what does not. For those of you that would like to book a personal reading with me, you could do that through email or form submission on my website. Scorpio, we are doing a free-flowing, this is not a structured reading today. This is just, in the monthlies, I do the Celtic Cross. In the mid-months, I leave it unstructured. I do 6 cards across and they clarify by 2s. And I do it a little bit more open-ended like this because I want your guides to be able to kind of take me wherever they want to go. It's a little bit more open-ended, and it's more like a conversation at that point. So, without further ado, Scorpio, let's get into it. Bottom of the deck is your challenge, represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. We've got the 6 of Cups, the Strength, and the Tower. Interesting. 4 of Pentacles as well. Okay. Scorpio, I think a lot of what's going on with your challenge in this mid-month for the rest of your month is that you're seeing things from a different perspective. This could be about childhood, about the past. And I feel like with the Tower, it's like you're getting a different angle on something. It's like if we're always looking at something from right here, but then we look at it from over here, we catch a different angle on it, right? Like the light might illuminate something differently on the card. It might show something that I didn't see in the beginning. And I feel like some of you guys are looking at, this could be your childhood. It's like looking at the past, looking at what happened, and again, just it keeps coming through as like seeing it in a new light, seeing it in a way that I didn't necessarily see it before. And I feel like specifically for some of you guys, it's coming through really loud. This has to do with like blame. I think a lot of you guys are looking at things that happened to yourself in childhood and no longer blaming yourself. You're like, oh, wait, it's kind of like the cognitive whammy of like, oh, I was a child. That's not my fault kind of energy coming through. So I think a lot of you guys are really looking at that, and it feels like it's shaking up your world a little bit, specifically in the realm of like how you view yourself, how you're interacting with yourself, and the narratives that you're forming about yourself, right? Because that's going to come from a lot of these past traumas, a lot of these past narratives, and all of those things filter in. How am I talking to myself? What am I saying to myself? And also, what am I believing about myself? So, let's get into it. You start off the bat with the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Wands. So, this kind of makes sense, Scorpio, because I think for a long time, you guys have been trapped in this world of, well, everything is my fault. And even if it's not your fault, it's like you're trapped in the consequences of something that wasn't your fault. That can be really ugly. I think for a lot of you guys, there's been a lot of, this is really harsh. It's how I'm hearing it, so I will say it, but I'm going to try and expand on it kinder. There's been a lot of like, woe is me for a really long time. I always tell my clients and I tell my collectives, we are allowed to throw a pity party for ourselves. Okay? We are allowed to feel bad for ourselves. Unfortunate, unfair things happen to us all of the time. What we have to be careful about is making sure that doesn't turn into a pity block party. And then suddenly everyone and their mother and all the neighbors are at the party and it never ends. I think some of you guys are taking your power back this month by recognizing, like, again, I can feel bad for myself. I'm allowed to feel these things. But what else is there? Hiding behind all of this is what? The way my guides are giving this to me is like, what is this? No, that's not. What is the Yellow Brick Road? What? The Wizard of Oz. Thank you. I'm like, I don't know this one. When you peel the curtain back, there's like the man behind it, I think, or something like that in the fairy tale. A lot of you guys are peeling the curtain back right now and being like, what's actually here? What's actually happening? Which is really positive. You know, what's behind this? Yeah, 10 of Wands in the reverse. Love to see it. The Hanged Man, but it's in the reverse, and the 3 of Wands. Yeah. I think a lot of you guys have sat around, or that's not the best way to say it. You've sat with little to no movement. For a while. It feels like a lot of you guys have been in a place of passive healing, I'm going to call it. So I always think of healing. Healing has two forms, right? So we have passive healing, and then we have like, what is the why am I like blanking out, Scorpio? Are you having brain fog this month? Like, passive and active healing. Thank you. It's like, I am having a lot of brain fog. Some of you could be dealing with brain fog this month. The difference between passive and active healing is like passive healing is time heals all wounds. I'm just going to keep going and process as I go. Active healing is like, I'm going to the group therapy. I'm doing the meditations. You know, I'm reaching out for help. It's more of a stimulated form of healing as opposed to just existing and letting time heal it, right? So it feels like, don't mind, the dog is just coming in. So all the animals are active today, so don't mind that. You know, it really does sort of feel like a lot of you guys were doing a lot of passive healing here, this belief system of like, oh, it'll heal in time. I'm just going to let it rock. And to an extent, that's true, right? But I think now we're realizing in this mid-month, Scorpio, that, oh, wait, if I actually want to heal, I have to do a little bit more than this. I have to be a little bit more of an active participant in my own life. This is very proactive, is what I'm going to say. Yeah, 4 of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. I think a lot of you guys also have struggled with self-love, and that's being highlighted for you this month, you know, with that Knight of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, Scorpio, interesting. The way my guides are giving this to me is like, you could have grown up with a family that was very big into like, you have to earn love. Like, it's not something that's freely given. It's something that's earned from your parents. Because it feels like now as an adult, you're always striving. Some of you may set very like academic and professional goals for yourself, which is important, but I would be careful for goals that you're setting for yourself in service of the only motivation is being recognized behind them. You know, it's like, this is the trauma response. It's like, well, if I smash this record out of the park, then someone's going to tell me they're proud of me. That's very different from, I want to smash this record out of the park because I want to do it. They're very different conceptualizations here, Scorpio. So I feel like what you guys need to start deconstructing within yourself is, who am I really doing this for? What am I really doing this for? This is about your motivating factors, right? Is my motivation simply just, I want to be told I did a good job? Or is my motivation, I genuinely want to do a good job for myself, okay? This is a good, my grandma, she's deceased, she's on the other side. She gave me this advice the other day. I'm going to give it to you guys because I was dealing with something in this similar ballpark, and then this advice really helped me go, huh? So I'm going to give it to you. Do you actually want it, or do you just want people to see that you have it? What's the motivation here, Scorpio? Yeah, the 8 of Pentacles just flew out. Some of you are very work-oriented recently. There's a lot of like work energy here for you. You may be putting a lot of effort into work. Judgment, yeah. I think this boils down to, if I don't do well, am I going to be judged? You know, your fear of perception, Scorpio, is not actually fear of being perceived. It's the fear of being perceived negatively, okay? That comes from that childhood trauma of like, I'm not being seen as doing anything good, right? Sorry, my voice is a little iffy today. Um, and I think you guys are, this is a really positive move forward for you, Scorpio. I think you guys are really taking charge this month, in this mid-month, for the rest of September. This is for September, by the way. I hope I said that in the beginning. Like I said, brain fog in this reading is strong, but it's like you're really taking charge of the remainder of September in identifying, what am I doing things for? What's my motivation here? Is it genuine? Is it hurting me? Is it positive? Is this a good experience for me? Or am I just doing it for outside validation? Okay, because your next two cards here are the Two of Pentacles and the Empress. So for a lot of you, this is a mother trauma. When we talk about the Empress, when we talk about the mother wound, I've been saying this a lot recently because I do want this to be made abundantly clear. The mother and the father wound do not coincide with biological sex of male and female, right? When we are talking about energy and gender, they are all encompassing. It is basically a sliding scale. Okay, so you're always going to have someone that favors the divine feminine and someone that favors the divine masculine. When we talk about the mother wound, we're talking about the wounding done from the feminine. Okay, and it feels like with this Two of Pentacles, some of you guys you go back and forth with this, I'm hearing. There's a little bit of, oh, okay, that's interesting. I just heard, I forgive you and then I don't. Forgiveness is fickle, guys, Scorpio. Okay, forgiveness is one of those things where we can forgive someone for ourselves, but there were many years in my life where I had forgiven my family, and then some days I woke up and I didn't forgive them. It's fickle, right? You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to forgive someone, and then maybe you have an incredibly difficult week, a lot of triggers, you wake up and you're like, you know what? I don't forgive you anymore. Right? Scorpio, we're allowed to do that, okay? I think some of you guys you're sort of hung up on the literalness, that's not a word, I made it up, the literalness of the act of forgiveness here. Forgiveness is for the benefit of us, not the benefit of those being forgiven, right? Especially if they never even apologized to begin with. The Empress twice, Scorpio? Damn. Three of Pentacles, High Priestess, the Empress. Yeah, I think this is literally what I just touched on. A lot of you never got an apology. You didn't. There was never an I'm sorry. There was never an acceptance here. It was always just sort of, well, it's my fault. I should have known better. Should you? You were a kid. What were you supposed to know better? Okay, with the Three of Pentacles here, even though some of you may not even be in contact with the mother here, is what I'm hearing with the High Priestess. That's like silence. But some of you are still holding on to, like, it's almost like an imaginary vessel of the divine feminine, the maternal figure for you, that you're doing things in service of. So let's say you guys are no contact with a mother, but then you go out and you do your hair because you're like, well, this is what my mom would have wanted. I think a lot of you guys in this mid-month are really identifying this and recognizing, like, oh, maybe this isn't really that healthy. We have a lot of different names for the voices inside our head, right? Like, some people call it the inner critic. I call it my inner bully. I have a friend who calls it their inner bureaucrat. There's all these different words for that voice that we have personified into almost a tangible person that then, for lack of a better way to put this, Scorpio, fucks with us. That voice comes from someone. If we don't snuff that person's voice out over years and years and years and years, it then becomes our own voice. Okay? That's what you guys, I think, are dealing with here. You have this sort of imaginary blob of a thing, person, maternal figure that is sort of ruling you right now. You know, it's telling you, hey, mom wouldn't like that, don't do that. And you're like, okay. I think a lot of you guys are waking up to this now. It's like you're finally realizing that you're doing things in service of something that, would you argue, isn't even real? When we have an idealized version of someone in our mind, that's not actually them, right? Think about it. If we have I'm a Pisces. This is a very Piscean issue that we deal with. We create idealized versions of people in our mind. They never are those people or show up as those people, and then you have to grieve the loss of someone that never existed in the first place. That's what you guys are kind of dealing with here, Scorpio. You have this idealized version of someone that is just a mental shadow, I want to call it almost, of what you're thinking that's not actually there. Yeah. Temperance and the Page of Wands. I think for a lot of you guys, this goes back to the passive versus active healing. You know, for a lot of you, you thought this was passive healing. Page of Wands. Well, I'll get over my childhood in time. I'll deal with it in time. You know, it is what it is. It's going to be fine. And I think you're realizing here with Temperance, it's not. You know, when we have these really sort of like darker, deep-seated issues that are buried inside of us, you can't passive heal that. You just simply can't. And I think a lot of you guys are coming to that conclusion in this mid-month. You're like, okay, if I want to do better, I have to try something different. And that different is going to look like, how do I actively heal this? How do I actively go after this? Yeah, Two of Cups. I think a lot of you guys, you want peace within yourself with the Two of Cups. You know, I think a lot of you guys are in this place of everything has been so tumultuous already. Why am I not on my own side right now? Scorpio, I would encourage you to think about, how do I say this? Sometimes the voice of the inner bully is so persuasive and so strong, we abandon ourselves in service of that bully. We have to then ask ourselves, why? What about the words that the inner bully is saying to me, the tactics that the inner bully is employing, is so, for lack of a better way to put this, workable on me? Why does it have such a profound impact on me to the point where I will sacrifice my own authenticity and my own truth in service of the inner bully? Okay? Because your last two cards here are the High Priestess and the Four of Swords. I think also your your intuition here, Scorpio, has been lighting up a lot this month. You know, I think you guys are being told to really take a seat and really work on this. Ooh, that's a prompt from my guides. It's a little vicious. Something to journal about, something to think about. Is running the same as healing? If I'm running away from it, am I healing it? Justice, yeah. And the Ace of Pentacles, yeah. I think a lot of you guys, this reading is so passive versus active healing on the nose. This is just truly, truly, truly. A lot of you guys have spent so long running from whatever this is, from yourself, from the inner critic, from the inner bully, whatever you want to call it, that you thought that everything would just work out. It would just go away. Scorpio, babe, it's not going away. This is almost like a, This is like not a great example that my guides are giving me, but maybe it is. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. But like if you have a virus, you know, if you go to like, if you have a virus, you go to the doctor and they give you antibiotics to heal it. If you have a virus and you don't get antibiotics, does it go away? No. It grows, multiplies, gets worse. Okay, so I think a lot of you guys are recognizing going to the doctor in this scenario. Not literally, don't go to the doctor and look for antibiotics because you're like, my inner voice is really mean to me. Wish it was that easy. But that's the parallel my guides want me to draw here, okay? Going to the doctor and getting that antibiotic for, I don't know, strep throat, whatever it is that you're struggling with right now. That's the active way to heal it. Passive would just be, oh, I'm just going to sit around and drink tea and honey and manage it. That's managing. Is managing the same as healing? The answer is no. Managing a symptom is not the same as getting rid of the problem causing the symptom, right? And I think that's what a lot of you guys are realizing now. Yeah, you have the Two of Wands just fell out. And the Strength card. I think you shouldn't really beat yourself up here, Scorpio. Okay? Be a little bit kinder to yourself right now. I think it takes a lot of courage to recognize when we haven't moved in a really long time. You know, when we have not done the thing that we need to do, when we've been complacent, it takes a lot of courage and energy to recognize that and move past it, move through it, heal through that. Don't get mad at yourself just because you haven't done it up until now. Okay? You have to allow this, you have to allow for like a cushion of grace here. Okay? When we're traumatized, babe. That's what it is. That's what this is. You're mad at yourself because you haven't done this yet. Babe, you were traumatized. Give yourself some grace here. Better to tackle it now than never, than not at all, right? Be proud of yourself, babe. Yeah, the Magician. Scorpio, you are manifesting. You are magic. You are doing exactly what you need to do this mid-month to get where you want to get to. But you have to allow yourself the grace, the kindness, the compassion to get there without degrading yourself, making yourself feel bad, being mean to yourself. That doesn't help you. Again, this month is all about fighting the inner critic. You know, defeating the inner critic. That's what this is about. Okay? All right. Let's get you an oracle card, Scorpio. This is the Angelarium. It is my favorite oracle deck to date. I always use this deck. It reads us to filth, and the art is beautiful. So, let's see. What is the Scorpio? Scorpio's advice for the mid-month. What's Scorpio's advice for the mid-month, please? Just one. Thank you. You have the Vessel, Barakiel. This is on point, and you're going to see why. I think it's also the last card in the whole deck. It is. I was right. It's number 91. Okay. Energy has been gathering for a while, and now may be the time to release it. There's only so long that it is worth restraining the potential inside yourself. Let others see what you've been holding back. Make a display to remember. The time is quickly approaching. Scorpio, I don't think I could have asked for a better card to wrap up your reading there. So, guys, Scorpio, I am going to end your reading there. That is your mid-month check-in for September, okay? If this reading resonates with you, or my reading style happens to resonate with you, I would really appreciate if you would consider liking and subscribing. We are on the way to 200 subscribers, so that's exciting. If you guys would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. Today, it is Sunday when this video goes out. I will be on Twitch at 4 from 6 today because I rescheduled from yesterday. So if you guys would like to keep up with all the Discord, all the notifications about stream, there is a Discord server you can join as well. Drop by stream today, get the link to the Discord. And that's all she wrote. So Scorpio, I hope to see you over on Twitch, and I will catch you guys in the next video.